He was too small, too weak, too unathletic. That's what every coach told him. In a sport built for giants, Cheslin Kolbe was a misfit, a 5'7" winger who was never supposed to survive. Most wingers bulldoze through defenders. Kolbe, he slips through them like smoke. And somehow that too small kid became a two-time World Cup champion, an Olympic medalist, and one of the most feared players in Europe. A journey that started on the tough streets of Cape Town. And to understand how Kolbe rewrote rugby's rulebook, we have to go back to where it all began. On October 28, 1993, a baby boy named Cheslin was born in Kraaifontein, a suburb of Cape Town. This wasn't some nice neighborhood with rugby fields and coaching sessions. This was a war zone. The big gangsterism, the selling of drugs, people getting stabbed and killed. Kolbe says this was just normality. That constant proximity to violence shaped something extraordinary. His signature sidestep wasn't developed through years of professional coaching. It was a survival mechanism. The ability to evade, anticipate, and react instantly was literally a matter of staying alive. His footwork is the physical expression of a mind conditioned to solve problems in the blink of an eye. Sport was my escape, Kolbe states simply. And the man who provided that escape was his father, Andrew. A talented rugby player himself, Andrew's professional dreams were crushed by apartheid. But in his son, he saw something more. Young Cheslin followed his father everywhere. "My dad never had that opportunity because of apartheid," Kolbe explained. "No matter what other people think or say about you, if you want to achieve your goals and are willing to make sacrifices and put in the hard work, anything is possible." But there was another factor in his development. His cousin is Wade van Niekerk. You know, the guy who would go on to win Olympic gold and set the 400-meter world record. Their childhood was a competitive crucible. They pushed each other constantly on the athletics track and the rugby field. In a remarkable bit of foreshadowing, Kolbe played scrum half, feeding the ball to his fly half cousin. Yet the real magic happened on the streets of Kraaifontein. Playing barefoot rugby on the roads, free from rigid coaching, was where Kolbe's genius was truly born. Here he developed his uncanny ability to change direction without losing momentum, to see gaps before they existed, and to manipulate defenders with the subtlest movements. This raw talent eventually made its way into formal rugby. At her school Brackenfell, he started turning heads. Then Craven Week, South Africa's premier schoolboy tournament. By the time he signed with the Western Province Rugby Institute, it was clear something special was brewing. But then he hit a wall, not a physical one, an institutional one. As Kolbe moved into senior professional rugby in South Africa, he collided headfirst with the sizest dogma that dominated the sport. Standing at just 5 feet 7 inches and weighing 80 kilograms, he was deemed physically inadequate for top-flight rugby. This wasn't subtle criticism, it was a constant barrage. He's too small to play rugby, he's too short, he'll never make it. He isn't big enough to compete. Kolbe has spoken extensively about this severe bias and stereotyping. Every time he broke through to a new level, he was told he'd reached his ceiling. The irony? Wales had a player named Shane Williams. Exact same height, same weight. He scored 60 international tries and was named World Rugby Player of the Year in 2008. But South African rugby refused to see it. Despite this, Kolbe dominated domestically. In 2013, his breakthrough year, he represented the SA Under-20 team, starred for the National Sevens squad, made the Stormers bench in Super Rugby, and helped Western Province reach the Currie Cup final. He won South African Under-20 Player of the Year. The following year, 2014, he was integral in Western Province winning the Currie Cup, defeating the Golden Lions 19-16. From 2013 to 2017, he made 50 appearances for Western Province and 59 for the Stormers. He was electric. Fans were calling for his Springbok selection, but the coaches refused. Too small for Test rugby, they said. So Kolbe took the only path available, Rugby Sevens. The Blitzboks became his international stage. The Sevens game, with its vast open spaces and emphasis on one-on-one encounters, was perfect for everything they said was a liability. His smaller frame, his reliance on evasion over brute force, these became unstoppable weapons. He represented the Blitzboks at the 2013 Rugby World Cup Sevens and continued as a star on the circuit. The system that rejected him for being too small had pushed him into the exact format that would hone the skills to eventually destroy that same system. And European clubs noticed. They valued skill and speed over sheer size. In 2017, after being an unused squad member on the Springboks end-of-year tour, Kolbe made a decision that would change everything. He signed for Toulouse in France. Kolbe's arrival in the French top 14 was a liberation. The league's tactical environment, with larger and less mobile forward packs, created the broken field opportunities he thrived in. His impact was immediate. 6 tries in his first 8 matches. He was credited for breathing new life into Toulouse. They called him Le Détonateur, the detonator, an attacking catalyst who could change a game in an instant. In June 2019, Toulouse won the top 14, their first French championship in 7 years. But the 2020-21 season was even better. Kolbe played a central role in a historic double, winning both the top 14 and the Heineken Champions Cup, the club's record 5th European title. One of his most memorable moments came in the 2020 Champions Cup quarter-final against Ulster, where he completely dismantled Ireland international Jacob Stockdale, scoring 2 tries and leaving his opponent looking lost. In 4 seasons, he made 82 appearances and scored 155 points. During this time, he formed an incredible partnership with French scrum half Antoine Dupont, who would become the world's best player. Their chemistry was electric. Both possessed an uncanny ability to read the game and exploit the smallest opportunities. Especially during training times that were loose, we would always find ourselves against one another. Kolbe recalled, "I'd step him, he'd step me. We'd always try and challenge each other." In 2021, Kolbe moved to Toulon in a massive transfer worth €1.8 million. However, his 2 seasons there were plagued by injuries, a broken thumb, ankle sprains, limiting him to just 31 appearances. Some critics suggested he was working the paycheck, but he silenced them in the 2023 EPCR Challenge Cup final, delivering a man-of-the-match performance that led Toulon to a dominant 43-19 victory over Glasgow. It was the club's first European trophy in 8 years. 2019 was his coronation. He entered the Rugby World Cup in Japan as one of the most feared players on the planet. Against Italy, he scored 2 tries in a man-of-the-match performance. In the final minutes of that Italy match, Kolbe twisted his ankle horribly. It was a scary moment. He was ruled out of the Canada match and re-injured the ankle against Japan, forcing him to miss the semi-final against Wales. The Springboks scraped through, setting up a final against England. Fully fit by the final, Kolbe delivered. That 74th minute try, leaving Owen Farrell grasping at air, was the ultimate expression of his genius. After COVID, the 2021 British and Irish Lions tour to South Africa was brutal and attritional. After the Lions won the first test, the series was tied heading into the decider in Cape Town. The third test was locked at 13-10 midway through the second half. Then Kolbe produced another moment of magic. Receiving the ball on the right wing, sliced between 2 defenders and scored the only try of the match. South Africa won 19-16, taking the series 2-1. By the 2023 World Cup in France, Kolbe had evolved into something more complete. His campaign was defined by 2 defensive moments that showcased not just skill, but intelligence and will. In the quarter-final against France, one of the greatest matches in World Cup history, the game was 29-28 to South Africa in the final minutes. French fullback Thomas Ramos lined up a conversion that would give France the lead. As Ramos began his run-up, Kolbe exploded. He charged down the kick. The 2 points he saved were the exact margin of victory. In the final against New Zealand, with South Africa clinging to a 12-11 lead, the All Blacks launched a desperate assault. Kolbe launched himself at the ball. He slapped it forward, a deliberate knock-on. Yellow card. He sat on the bench with his jersey over his head, a portrait of anguish, fearing he'd cost his team the World Cup. But the Springboks held on. South Africa won back-to-back World Cups. And Kolbe's evolution from untouchable attacker to complete match winner was complete. So how good was prime Cheslin Kolbe actually? The answer isn't a single moment, it's an evolution. Prime 1.0 from 2017 to 2019 was the attacking phenom who could create something from nothing, whose sidestep was art, and whose pace was devastating. This Prime peaked with that try in the 2019 World Cup final. Prime 2.0 from 2021 to 2023 was the hardened warrior who won games with intelligence, anticipation, and sacrifice. The charge down against France, the desperate yellow card in the final. This Prime was about winning brutal contests through sheer force of will. But Kolbe's ultimate legacy isn't just the trophies, it's the impact on the sport itself. In a game dominated by giants, he shattered the dogma of size. He proved that speed, intelligence, and heart aren't just equalizers. He stands as a beacon for every young player told they're too small. A living testament to his father's advice. With belief and hard work, anything is possible. Cheslin Kolbe didn't just play the game. He changed how it was seen. The boy they said had zero size destroyed everyone. And he did it his way.